See, the truth is thumbnail design is now easy. So I'm going to show you my 2026 workflow by redesigning a thumbnail that is very much underperforming and showing you my exact process from how I break down a thumbnail all the way to rebuilding it and redesigning it in Photoshop. Hello, today we are redesigning this thumbnail here. So this is on Miranda Cosgrove's channel, or the CBS Unstoppable channel, but it's Miranda Cosgrove's show. And the thumbnails aren't very good, in my opinion. So I thought, as a professional thumbnail designer, I would do a redesign of these, specifically for this video here. So this here is the thumbnail, and it's not very good. So Miranda Cosgrove is the host of the show, and she's very famous, if you didn't know, and you would have no idea that she's involved from this thumbnail here. So let's start by just looking at this thumbnail and understanding why it's not very good. So the first thing is we need Miranda. Where is she? She is the host and she's very famous. It would be silly to not have her in the thumbnail. The next thing is just the amount of wasted space. There is so much wasted space here in the thumbnail that just doesn't need to be. So that's another issue. The next thing here is the logo is like the prominent thing. Logos should never be the most prominent thing in your thumbnail, almost ever. There's some instances where that makes sense, but this here is not one of them. See, our goal on YouTube is to get new viewers, and the only people who will click on a thumbnail because they recognize the logo are already, very big fans of the show. And from what it looks like, there's only between 1,000 and 2,000 people who are like coming back consistently. So this logo here is not the important thing. The important thing is Miranda. But yes, we can put the logo somewhere in the corner or something. The next thing here is just the premise of the video. So I had a quick look at the video, and this bit here, the water, is the least interesting part of the video. Filtering water, frog babies, and firefighting. That's like some of the stuff they talk about in the video. Another thing they talk about in the video is how Miranda Cosgrove talks about how there is evidence of life on another planet. If I told you, hey, here's a premise of an episode, which one would you rather watch? A stranger who we don't know talking about filtered water, or Miranda Cosgrove talking about how there's evidence of life on another planet, I would say that one is way, way more interesting. So we need to put our best foot forward and show like the interesting thing, with the interesting thing being Miranda Cosgrove talking about evidence of life on another planet. That should be front and center, not this. The next issue is that the background here is cluttered and unnecessary. It doesn't provide context. I do like full episode. I think that should stay here as well. Now that we understand everything that is wrong with this thumbnail, let's start the thumbnail design process. So the first thing is I got the logo here. The next thing that I need is a screenshot of Miranda. So I got this screenshot here of Miranda and just asked AI to remove the background. That way it just makes my job a lot easier. Because Miranda is very famous, it would be silly not to have her in the thumbnail. And what we're going to do is try to have her taking up as much room as possible. So this here is a screenshot from the video itself. So we're not just taking a random image online. We want it to be as accurate to the video itself. And in the video, she is the one actually presenting, specifically for this segment about space. So yeah, she should be in the thumbnail. The next thing is the space part is the interesting part. So we need to put that in the thumbnail. So we have the photo of Miranda, and then we have space here. So this is just an image that I asked ChatGPT to generate. And we honestly don't need many more assets in the thumbnail. But one thing that we do have to do is make it obvious what the premise is. So the premise of the video is Miranda saying there is life on another planet. It was specifically on a moon. So what I'm going to do here is use the Photoshop generative fill just to expand space here, because space is endless, so it can be expanded. Was that funny? That wasn't funny. Look at that, I did a great job. These all look very similar, doesn't matter which one. So now we have all the assets that we need. So we need Miranda. We don't need this logo, but we can have it. I don't know where I'll put it just yet, so I'm gonna wait with that one. And now what we need to do is write some text here that makes this sound exciting. So we have the host, we have the thing that the video is about, which is space. And now I need to explain clearly there's life, proof of life. Not life, proof of aliens, maybe. That's more interesting. Yeah, I think proof of aliens. Or we found aliens. That's even more interesting. We found aliens. I would click on that in a heartbeat. I think that is going to work really well. I think we found aliens sounds even more interesting. Now, as you can see, there's only 4 assets here right now. We have the host, we have the image, we have the logo, which might not even need to be there, and we have the text of we found aliens. So there's only 4 assets. Thumbnail design doesn't need to be more complicated than that. And what I'll do is just move all of these assets around and show you the before and after. So let's go through the before and after. So here we have the before. Once again, let's just go through what's wrong with it. And I can show you why thumbnail design is actually quite easy. See, there's too much stuff going on here and we're not focusing on the right things. See, right now the focus is on the logo and people with a glass of water. The logo here isn't the recognizable thing in this show. A very small percent of people in the world know this logo. Many more people will recognize the host of the show. So instead of focusing on the logo, we should focus on the host. And then this focus here of the premise of the show, which is filtered water. Like I didn't watch the whole thing, I just skimmed through it. But the interesting part, in my opinion, is the host, who's very famous, talking about, hey, there's life on another planet and there's potential proof of that. That I think is way more interesting. And since that is more interesting, that should be the focus. The next thing here is just the background has a lot of stuff going on. This is a very common thing that I see with graphic designers. They feel the need to like fill all empty space with something, which I agree with. It should be filled with something. It should be filled with the assets that are important because we're going to see the thumbnail this small. And now, as you can see, you can't see what the logo is. You can't see any of the text. And the photo of the glass here, it's not even obvious that it's a photo of glass of water. So everything here isn't working when it's zoomed out. So that's a big problem. I do like full episode. I think that is that's an important thing to say. That's a strong reason to click on a video. If you click on this video, you're going to get the entire episode. You're not just going to get a small clip of it. So that's the before. This here is the after that I've designed. It only took a few minutes, literally only like 5 minutes to do. But this CTR change, so the click-through rate, I think would be an immense change, meaning they can go from getting, 2,000 views to getting 200,000 views. The difference here would be, if not more, to be honest, the difference here would be absolutely massive. See, instead of focusing on the logo, we are focusing on the very famous host. Instead of focusing on filtered water as the premise, which isn't that interesting, instead we are focusing on, hey, there are aliens. That's a lot more interesting. And full episode is a really good selling point. So we've made that really, really large. And we've also kept the logo, but instead it's just small in the corner. See, thumbnail design doesn't need to be difficult. The thing that you need to understand, one of the main 4 skills that you need to understand with thumbnail design is what should you put in the thumbnail. So we went from this to this in only a few minutes. And this isn't like, the world's best Photoshop job or anything like that. The reason this is going to perform so well is because we mastered the psychology of thumbnail design. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you want to see another similar video, then click on this one or this one. These are very good as well. If you like this video, you'll like these as well. Thanks for watching.